Okay. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. Beautiful morning it is. Settle into our space. Close your eyes and arrive right here, right now. As you breathe naturally, I'd like you to begin to really reach down deep inside and see if you can connect with that wild woman in you, that woman who knows, that being, forget about woman, that being who knows just how powerful and fearless she is. And beyond that, that being that knows that there's nothing to fear, that everything brings us full circle back to love. See if you can connect with her. I'm going to read a passage from a book, actually a book that Jen got me. I Am Her Tribe. And I love this. It's called Wild Woman. So just close your eyes and really listen to every word. The time has come for you to step forward, wild woman. It is time for you to climb and claw your way out from your deepest shadows of hiding. Can't you hear their call? You've been deliberately forged from the dreams of your ancestors. Their legacy has watered the earth you will continue to rise from. Awaken to your voice, your truth, your belonging. Let your song make its way to the surface to breathe, for this is an offering that only you can bring forth to the world. Can you meet your courage at its edge? When all seems lost and suffocating, do not abandon yourself. Do not abandon your shake or your rumble, your thirst or your hunger. They exist to show you that you've tried something, loved something, braved something, longed for something worth fighting for. Bring with you your heart, your hurt, your sorrow, your burn that you carry. Unleash its scorch without fear of what comfort it may challenge. Just as you, it does not need permission to exist here. I'm going to read that again. Just as you, it does not need permission to exist here. The time has come for you to work through your aching, wild woman. Once you do this, you can sit with the pains of another and not become them. Your strength is not defined by the heaviness you rest upon your shoulders. Surrender it outside of yourself, for when the heart is broken open, the sweetness makes its way in. You are anchored to the moon herself. You bring the unveiling with you into the darkness when the mask falls and the forcing fades, and the light pours in and begins to show us the way. The time has come for you to join hands with your sisters, the women of your yesterday and men, today and tomorrow. Honoring this union, the stretch of wisdom and story that flows throughout time, gives us clues to where we're going. It shows us that when we stand up together, when we step forward out of the shadows, together our voices become the bridge to a new day's horizon. So what is it inside of you that needs to rise up? What shadows are we hiding? And what happens when we introduce light to those shadows? When we really take a good look at what's really under that bed, right? It's nothing. There's no boogeyman under that bed. It's the boogeyman of our mind, of our fears. So as we move through our practice today, maybe letting those parts of you rise up, those parts of you that want to be bold and brave and want to speak out, those parts of you that don't really care what anybody else thinks, those parts of you that don't even think about what anybody else is going to think, brave enough to just be and rise up, become that bridge to tomorrow. Take a nice long deep breath in and exhale completely. Inhale your hands to your heart, and we'll open with Om Namo, Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Pause. Be open. Inner wisdom rising, taking its seat at the table, the tip of your tongue, the forefront of your mind. And then moving into our next chant, Ad Gare Name, 3 times together. Ad Gare Name, Jugat Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gare Name, Jugat Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Ad Gare Name, Jugat Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Siri Guru Deve Name. Pause. Experience you in this moment. Notice the energy at the space right in the front of your throat, that little notch. Feel the pulsating vibration of the purity of you. Notice the energy in the solar plexus, your power, your truth, your vitality pulsing there. All of it rising up from the earth. Take a deep inhale, bring that prayer up overhead. Reach, reach, reach. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything up. Even eyes rolled up to the third eye. Hold that precious breath, that precious prana. Let it circulate. And slowly exhaling, moving through the energy of all of you. The fear and the love, and the joy and the sorrow, the anger and the peace, all of it. Embrace it all as the whole of you. As your fingers touch the earth, remind yourself that all of it is either love or it's the ingredients that will make up your map to the path of love. Inhale your hands, palms down to your knees. Just begin to sway your chin from side to side, just waking the neck up a little bit. Focusing on that 5th chakra. 5th chakra has this beautiful union with the 2nd chakra, a creative energy. The creativity rises up and manifests, projects out into the world through our voice. Think about the words that we speak. Sometimes when we have to have an important conversation, we'll stop and we'll think about how our words will be delivered, because we are aware, we know in the deepest place of inside of us that our words matter, not necessarily the words themselves all the time, the energy behind them, but also the words themselves, because if they're not delivered in a way that really speaks your truth, then they're not going to be received in a way that echoes your truth. Next time that your chin comes to center, pause there. Slowly rise back up, chin parallels the ground. Begin to do a few spinal flexes just to wake that spine up. We're going to be sitting a little bit today, so getting that spine moving. What I find for me is that the easiest way for me to get to that place where I'm receptive, to look beyond my fears or my judgments, those things that protect me, is when everything is in balance, right? It's after a good energy work session or a class or some meditation. What we're going to do next is a meditation for spiritual, mental, and physical balance. So as we bring ourselves into balance, we create this doorway, this entrance for that energy of truth to really step through and step up. Next time that your heart moves forward, pause there. Back to center and just let your shoulders move up towards your ears and drop. How cool would it be if we could live our lives just like this, letting everything fall off our shoulders? The minute somebody lands something on us, makes us responsible for something. Nope, not mine. Nope, not mine. Nope, not mine. Right? You think about all the things I take on, and how many times I've gotten resentful against people because I've taken those things on. But no is a complete sentence, and I know that. Right? So if I don't say no, I really have spent half of my life, and I just realized this maybe 10 years ago, resenting people for putting me in the position of having to say no. Right? And that's crazy because I want it to be open. I want people to be able to approach me. I want to be able to help when it feels right. And it's on me. When I can allow all of those things inside of me, that bravery to rise up, then I can own my no and I can own my yes. And I don't have to resent people for forcing me to be in a position where I'm speaking my truth. Let those shoulders relax down. Close your eyes and just feel all the energy that you've already moved. Right? We haven't done a whole lot. Feel all that energy moving, settling. Everything falling into place. Every nook and cranny inside of you. The energy knows where to go, how to fill it. It knows which chakra is overstimulated or understimulated. The energy knows where to go. Our job is to pay attention, to offer breath, to offer movement, to remove those places, those obstacles that have been put in the path of that balance. So opening your eyes, you're going to bring your hands in front of you, and all the fingertips are going to touch. You're going to move the middle fingers, the three middle fingers together so that they're touching both on the tips and side by side. The thumbs and the pinkies are going to be spread out. The thumb is going to be pointing towards your heart. Pinky is straight forward and up a little bit. You're going to begin to press into your fingertips, just the first joint though. So there's going to be some pressure here. This is going to be a little effort. So all 5 fingers just pressing in at the first joint. Your fingers are going to be bent a little bit in an odd way. Your elbows can be straight out. If you get really tired though, there's nothing wrong with angling them down against your ribs and then coming back up when you're ready. And you're simply going to take a deep inhale through the nose and then 8 exhales through the mouth. And that's it. Your eyes are going to be closed and rolled up to the third eye. And this, again, is a meditation for spiritual, mental, and physical balance. Find that place of equanimity inside so that we can project a world of equanimity on the outside. How crazy is it that every inner disturbance shows up in some way in the physical world? Everything that we're working on the inside, opportunities to work on those things present themselves in the physical world. We can't deny that. We all see that in our lives in different ways if we're paying attention. I believe it's a wise and loving universe, not a cruel universe. So what it brings to me is always for me. But it's the fear that I don't have what it takes to move through, or that somehow I'm not going to be okay, or someone I love is not going to be okay. It causes me to forget who I am. Keep going. I'm going to read, there's this book, it's called The Illustrated Bestiary. And it's by the same woman, Maya Toll, who Cheryl's been reading from her herbiary book. This one is all about animals. It addresses different animals, their symbolicism. And the very last animal is the human. And it's called Remember Forgetting. Keep breathing. It says, someday, when the animals gather to tell the tales of being, they will say, remember when humans went through the great forgetting. They forgot they were one of us. They forgot we are brothers and sisters. They forgot they too are of the earth. Almost there. The animals will shake their heads and ruffle their feathers, remembering the rift and near catastrophic destruction the humans caused in the throes of their forgetting. Even now, humans know there is something missing, something lost. We live our lives with a nagging nostalgia, a longing for something that we can't quite name. What is it that you are forgetting? The great forgetting. I always wondered what those squirrels talked about when they gathered in my backyard. Now I know. Take a deep inhale. Squeeze everything out. Press those palms, those fingers together as hard as you can. Elbows straight out to the sides. Everything pressing, tensing all the way up the center. Exhale, hands to knees, eyes closed. Pause and feel. The great forgetting. Long deep breaths, slipping into the silence. And then as your eyes open, move on to hands and knees. Once you get there, really find that place of balance. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And then notice for you, for your body, for your stability, do your hands need to go a little wider, or a little forward, or a little back? Maybe your knees need to be a little bit wider. Find a place where you feel so stable and so held by the earth. And then take a couple of long, deep breaths here. Really feeling the upward moving energy of prana, connecting you to the heavens, to deeper consciousness, to infinite possibility. And equally feel the energy of apana, that eliminating energy, the energy that lets go, that grounds into the earth, that gives it back. And then feel the merging in your mid-body, right along that Sushumna Nadi, that central channel of all of those energies, both of those energies. The heavens, the earth, everything inside of you. Feel that. And then slowly begin to move your right arm forward, your left leg back. Lift them both up a little more and exhale them back down. Left hand comes out, right leg comes back. Lift nice and high, exhale and lower, and keep going from side to side. Balancing the right and the left, the masculine and the feminine, the cool and the hot, the foundational energy of the rules, and the creative energy that breaks those rules. Feel the merging of how we are all that, every one of us, Male, female, it doesn't matter. All those check boxes on those questionnaires that we fill out, what are you? There should just be one, and it should just be human. And that there should be a question mark next to that. Because really, we're spirit. We're just having a human experience. Right? If you knew that, if you really knew in your heart of hearts, keep going, that you were just playing a role, that you were starring as Jen, and you were starring as Margie, and you were starring as Linda, and I was starring as Eileen. And one day the play would end, and I would move on to something else, another role. Wouldn't it be so much easier to make some of these decisions, to let go of some of that fear? Next time that you have your left arm forward, your right leg back, let everything come down to the mat. Walk your hands a little forward, spread your knees a little wider, and begin the deepest, widest hip rolls that you have ever done. Mix it all up like you were churning everything inside of you around. Moving everything like a snow globe, shaking it up. Letting everything settle and shaking it up again. The answer is always in the light, in the love. And so when I'm afraid, instead of lashing out, instead of moving into a defensive mode, moving the other direction, what if I just acknowledged I was afraid? And what if I became so aware that that fear takes me out of my truth? So what if I let myself feel the fear? Breathe in that fear. And as I breathe out, connect to the energy of peace, of love, of truth. That little pause, that opportunity to respond and notice rather than react blindly, can make such a big difference in what happens next, and what my next lessons will be, and what my relationships will look like. Next time you come to center, stay there. Let those big toes come together, knees nice and wide. Walk your hands back, sit on your heels for a moment. Actually, inhale your arms up to the sky, reach up. Bring that prayer up overhead and then slowly down to your heart. Let those hands land on the mat in front of you. And then walk yourself one hand at a time, one heart space at a time down to the mat. Letting your heart kiss the earth. Letting your head bow to your heart. One of my favorite quotes is from Marianne Williamson. She says that love is what we were born with, fear is what we learn. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Meaning does not lie in things, meaning lies in us. Right? The great forgetting, we forget this. We forget that we are love. Every one of us. Yes, even that person that you just thought of. Even that person. You know, some of us forget and then we remember, and some of us just totally and completely, deeply forget. I really believe that my job here is to create a world where it's much harder for people to forget that they are loved and loved. A few more breaths here. And then slowly make your way up to a seat. You can put a blanket underneath you. And once you get settled in, you're going to place your left palm on your left knee, face down for grounding. You're going to bring your right hand up so that it's kind of angled right by your temple, your cheek, your jaw. And you're just going to simply begin to twist your wrist side to side. So it's almost like you're almost beating yourself up here. I like to think of it as if you're waving goodbye. Goodbye to anything that's standing in the way of you and your truth. Just a little gentle moving on. Eyes closed. The rest of your body nice and gently releasing down, surrendering to gravity. You can even balance that elbow against the rib if you'd like. You should be able to feel a sense of energy or maybe even air moving as you just swivel that wrist back and forth. Balancing the brain. This exercise is said to draw out the energy of anger and trauma. Draw it out. And then let it merge with the energy of love. Let it release. I've been doing this Kriya this week, and Cheryl was talking yesterday about having a splinter and chewing up some plantain leaf and putting it on the splinter, letting it sit for a little while, and how the plantain, the energy of the plantain, pulled the splinter out so she was able to remove it. And that to me is what this exercise does. It begins to lift that energy of anger and trauma and everything that goes along with it, that's nestled so deeply down inside. We don't even know, we can't see it, right? But it's the results is that we're a little bit swollen, a little bit touchy, a little bit tender. So drawing that energy up so that it can be released. The energy of those traumas, they're meant to pass through us, not become cemented inside of us, but they do. They become our samskaras if we don't give ourselves permission to feel them and release them. Waving goodbye. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for all your lessons. Leave now, please. Allow yourself to be transformed, transmuted into a supportive, loving energy that comes full circle back to me, and that I send full circle back to the world. 30 more seconds here. Really let it move, let it move, let it move. Take a deep breath in. Bring both arms up and shake them out. Let your hands rest on your knees for a moment. Feel and process. Just let whatever wants to come up, come up. Sometimes it comes to me in colors. It's just like I'm watching all these different colors flowing from different parts of my body. See if there's emotion that comes up. Notice where it exits, or if it has trouble exiting. Just notice. And then inhale your arms out to a T. And you're going to, so I'm going to bring my arms in just so you can see, but your arms are going to stay straight out. You're going to move your right hand up as your left hand comes down, and then you're going to keep on switching. So it's going to look, they're going to be straight out, and you're going to be moving your wrist up and down like that. So when the right comes up, the left goes down. When the left comes up, the right goes down. Got it? Good. Eyes closed. Just moving from the wrist, keeping the rest of the arms steady. Just moving from the wrist. And so you might feel a little movement in the arm as the wrist moves. This exercise brings the right and left hemispheres of the brain into a place of neutrality, away from the opinions of the positive mind and the negative mind, into the wholeness, the open-mindedness of that neutral mind. That mind that doesn't operate from facts or memory. That mind that is so connected to the wise one inside of us, the wisdom of our heart, that only knows love, knows nothing of fear. And then pause for a moment. Stretch both arms out to that T in opposite directions. Keep on pushing, pushing, pushing. And then whatever hand you started with, you're going to start with the opposite hand and you're going to begin flowing that hand down and the other one up. So the focus is going to be on the down movement first. Down and up. If you can't remember, just do what you do and it'll be perfect, I promise. The universe doesn't have a whole lot of rules. It's us humans that have rules. Right and wrong, good and bad. The universe looks at intention and effort. It says high five for both of those things. Inhale your arms all the way out again. This time, press your palms up as if you were pushing walls away from you on either side. Your deep breath, hold, hold, hold. Exhale, and just let those arms flop around. Just do whatever you need to do to release your shoulders. Let it all go. You know the arms are an extension of the heart. And everything releases through the heart, right? The place of forgiveness. So everything, the anger from our liver and the fear from our kidneys, all the stress from our adrenals, it all processes itself through the heart. Inhale your arms up behind your head, interlace your fingers. Let your head rest in your palms, elbows out. Just breathe here for a moment, nice and long and deep. Being so aware of your root, at the base of your spine, of your seat. See if you can feel that energy of Mother Earth. Imagine yourself as a tree. The roots of a tree, like an umbilical cord in our belly, right, when we carry a baby. That's what the roots of a tree are. They're being fed by their Mother Earth. And so are we. So feel your energetic roots here. And then begin to inhale your arms up overhead. Keep the interlace like a halo and back down, up and down, up and down. Just clearing energy from your halo. Clearing that energy, more balance. This exercise releases deposits in the shoulders, right? So there's actually calcium that builds up, different things that build up physically, but there's also that ama, that dead energy, that stuff that just kind of sticks to us, right? The world, we carry the world on our shoulders, the weight of the world, they say, right? That's what that is, all that stuff. So feel yourself releasing that stuff, that ama. This is also really good for the lymph. I love that each and every one of these movements serves us on all levels. Next time that you come up, stretch those palms up to the sky, interlace your fingers still, squeeze everything up, stretch, exhale, release the interlacing of the hands, bring the palms straight up so they're facing each other, but straight up. And you're just going to begin to move one hand back and then the other front, like this. Yep. We're just going to do this for less than a minute. I know we're doing a lot of arms today. We're almost done with the arms, though, I promise. I promise. Almost there. Inhale all the way up. Pause, hold, fill. Your hands down to your heart in prayer. Close your eyes and pause and feel here. And then float your hands straight out in front of you so the palms are facing forward. And just begin to bring your hands to neutral, up, neutral, down, neutral, up, neutral, down. You can let your elbows rest against your ribs here if your arms are tired, or not. Again, finding balance. Releasing this time the energy that we hold in the wrists. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them down behind your sacrum. Interlace your fingers together at your sacrum. And just begin to twist from side to side. Let your breath move. Okay, I'm going to give you a little music. Begin to slow until you find yourself back in center, nice and still. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull those fingers down toward the earth. Let your heart open up. And as you exhale, bring your arms out to the sides. Flap them 3 times like wings, and then clap overhead. 1, 2, 3, clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. And keep going. The next time they're out to the sides, leave them there for a moment. Clap forward, clap up. Clap forward, T, up. Yep. Just for a minute. Opening up the chest, letting that heart energy flow, releasing that fear, remembering that we were born as love. And when we leave here, we will leave back into pure love. So everything here is just a journey back to that place. It's just remembering. It's not learning. It's just unforgetting. Moving out of the great forgetting. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale them down to the floor right behind you so your fingertips rest on the floor. Bring your feet in front of you. Roll up a little bit on your butt and just start kicking your feet like a little kid. So using those hands to support you, you're going to be leaning back, lifting your feet up off the floor and just kicking your own butt. Having a fit. So Linda, it's like this, yeah. There you go. You got it. You got it, Marge. Yep. I tell you to start yelling and screaming like a little kid having a tantrum, but I see Jen's outside, so I don't know how that would pan out. My neighbors already think I'm crazy, so I'd be fine with it, but Kick, 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 kick. This uses muscles in our buttocks that we don't usually use, right? And it starts to move that energy. It starts to open the capillaries in the legs, letting that blood flow. We squeeze and we hold and we retreat in so many ways that we don't even realize. Bring your legs to stillness and let yourself rock forward back into easy sitting pose. Then once you get there, you're going to put one hand on each knee. You're going to begin to bow towards your right knee, bringing your right elbow out to the side and come back up. Bow to the left, come back up, and just keep going. Bowing to your own heart, bowing to your own greatness, your own love, to your own light. We are light, right? And all the darkness that we see around us, sometimes the darkness that we feel in front of us, inside of us, right? We can't, when we attach to the energy of that darkness, we just bring more darkness. When we introduce the light of who we are into any situation, when we bring love into any situation, then we become part of the solution. And that doesn't mean to not protect ourselves. We are human. We're in these human bodies. And so often we're drawn to do things that might feel like it's not love. But if it's coming from a place of right, if it's coming from a place of good intention, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. It's trusting what we're driven to do. Sometimes we feel like we're left no choice. I mean, the universe delivers messages to us in odd ways. Situations that seem like they're really bad have caused me to take the best paths in my life. I mean, there are times that I let things go out of the goodness of my heart when there was a nagging. I knew there was more I needed to say or do, and I didn't. And so those things just kept on showing up in different ways until I finally found my voice. So forgetting what the head knows and just follow the heart. So even the definition of love is not what we think it is. Anything we think is subject to review. Anything that we feel in our hearts, that's truth. Come back to center. Inhale your arms overhead one more time, but this time you're going to interlace your fingers. Pointer fingers are going to be facing up. For your thumbs, notice what you feel most connected to right now. Is it your masculine energy or your feminine energy? If it's your masculine, right thumb on top. If it's your feminine, left thumb on top. Thank you for pointing that out. At one point, Jen, I'm using it all the time now. Arms up, eyes closed. And then to yourself, just begin to do Sat Kriya. Sat, bringing that navel up. Nam, relaxing it. Sat, Nam. Sat, Nam. Going at your own pace. Moving into your own truth, your own rhythm. The Sat Nam of you. The best way to affect change in this world is to be the best you that you can be. You came here with a divine purpose. You sprouted from the earth. Your purpose is your divine purpose, not anyone else's. How do we unlearn fear? By listening to the heart, not the mind. The mind struggles for solutions. The heart is the solution. Inhale, reaching up, rooting down. Exhale, keep the mudra, but bring your arms straight in front of you. And just start to make big circles. And then move in the other direction. And then just for the fun of it, let's make hearts in front of ourselves. Draw hearts. Whatever your heart looks like. And then inhale those arms up one more time. Release them down to your knees. Do a few nice, slow head circles here. Releasing the neck. A few in each direction. And then pause in stillness, hands on your knees. Letting the effects of that Kriya settle over you. It was a Kriya to balance the brain. I've just been so drawn to certain Kriyas lately, and even though this is not a full-out Kundalini class, I guess today it kind of was. And opening your eyes, come onto all fours. I just want to get you on your feet for a moment before you find yourselves on your backs. Onto all fours and just tuck those toes, stretch up into downward facing dog. And then move your hands a little forward. Do some cat-cows here in downward facing dog. Come to stillness. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Come into forward fold. Then inhale your arms up to the sky as you come up to stand. Bring your palms together. Exhale that prayer through the midline of the body, diving down. And then do that a few times, all the way down to the floor, rising up with your arms wide and out. Prayer overhead, down the midline, and just keep going. Or you can just wag your tails like the pups are doing. The next time you dive down toward the mat, stay, melt into forward fold. Let your hands touch the mat. Walk them forward, letting your knees come down to the mat. And make your way onto your back. Once you get there, stretch your arms and your legs up to the sky. Really stretch out. And bring your knees into your chest. And as your knees move into your chest, place one hand on each knee and begin to circle them away from each other and then toward each other. Squeeze your knees back into your chest. Squeeze up nose to knee. Relax your head down. Bend your knees, reaching for your insteps, coming into happy baby. Feel the release in your hips and your groins. What if we all assume the best of each other? What if we assume the best of ourselves? What if we let all those pretenses melt away and we let that wild woman, wild man, wild everything inside of us rise up? What if we knew that we were part of the earth herself? That our enemy was just a reflection of our own heart? and that love is everybody's truth, not just some. What if we knew that? What if we knew we were just playing a role? What would be different? Release your hands so the soles of your feet come together. Drop your feet down to the mat in supine Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide on the mat. You could either let your arms rest at your sides or you could let them come up overhead on the floor. Just grab opposite elbows or any way that feels open to you. And breathe long and deep. Maybe do a couple of rounds of that breath we did in the beginning, inhaling long through the nose, exhaling through the mouth in 8 strokes. Do that a few times. It's a breath that allows a calming, releases obstacles in our chakra system. Assists us in letting go. Surrendering the heaviness that rests upon your shoulders. Remembering that you are anchored to the moon herself. Joining hands together. Honoring the union, person to person, human to human, which will give us the clues we need to where we're going. Standing up together, moving forward together, stepping out of our shadows into our light, our voices becoming the bridge to a new day's horizon. How beautiful is that? Let go of the breath. Release your legs long. Take any last stretches or twists that feel good. And then move into silence, into stillness, Shavasana. Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we learn. Spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Sounds like the journey of the world right now. Glad to be on that journey with you, beautiful beings. Slowly begin to deepen your breath, bringing movement to your fingers and your toes. Maybe circling your neck or letting your head rock from side to side. And if you're on your backs, bringing your knees into your chest. Everybody letting your palms and the soles of your feet come together. Rub, connect, know. And then rocking up and down on your spine, coming to join each other in a seat. Palms together at the heart. Really pausing for a moment and noticing that connection to the heart. The fingers pointing outward, sending that compassion, that love, that truth from your heart out to the world. Can you give and can you receive in equal parts? Can you dive so deeply into being part of the whole, part of the future, the love that's blossoming everywhere? Holding a space for it even when it can't be seen by the physical eye. Knowing that love is the truth. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Please join me in sealing our practice together with a long Sat Nam. Deep, deep inhale. Sa. Touching your fingertips, your thumbs to your third eye. Bowing so deeply into your own truth. Be love, believe, be true to you. Sat Nam.